All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, and I'm definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with me tonight as we take a look at the technicals and what should be a pretty big day fundamentally, right? To see what we can take advantage of in this Forex market. So without further ado, please turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. And always, just like practice, let's make sure we drop a big one in the chat. Let me know that you all can hear me loud and clear, especially today, because I do have a new laptop. So I did have some sound issues earlier. So I want to make sure that I'm coming through okay. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I hope you all are doing well this evening ahead of the big CPI report that is scheduled for tomorrow at, I believe, 8:30 a.m. So let's jump over to the Forex factory. And we'll go right to tomorrow. Yep, 8:30 a.m. We have CPI month over month. And CPI year over year and core CPI month over month. So we are looking to see if we have further declines in inflationary pressure. I believe if we do, that'll mark 7 straight months of decline in regards to the CPI and inflation. So let's see what's going to happen. All eyes will be on that report tomorrow. And that's it, right? That's it for tomorrow. That's it, period, as everybody is waiting for that data there. So that is it. The world will be watching. So let's go to over to trading economics, and we can see, let me refresh on that. China inflation rate accelerates as expected. Okay, so we know probably the second most important thing that's going on in the world right now is the reopening of China. That is huge. Everybody's watching that. And so we see inflation rate accelerates as expected. We had US inflation rate seen falling to 6.5% overall. So we posted that earlier, that article. We also posted another article about copper prices accelerating. So the question that I want to ask everybody, right, is why is something like an article stating that copper, right, prices, right, are seeing a surge? Why is that important? Can anybody tell me why?
Hey, Benny, could you repeat that question? It kind of sounded like you cut out on my end and I didn't hear the last part of it.
Right. So thanks for letting me know that. So we posted an article today in the Discord about copper, right? And copper prices increasing. So I was asking the question is why do we think that's important? Copper is used in electric batteries. Okay. All right. That's true. That's true. Anybody else?
Is copper like you material used for like building things and like buildings and I guess business
Yep.
like that? Okay.
Yep. A lot, right? So those are great answers. So it tells us something about demand, right? We see the stock market rally, okay? And then also when you think about, okay, copper is uh, it's a high value commodity, right? So when we think about that and we say, okay, well, demand, okay, may be increasing. And so we know in Canada, we keep a close eye on oil, okay? Um, and in New Zealand, we talk about dairy and things like that all the time. And then Australia, we talk about iron ore, okay? But then also in Australia, when you talk about globally, they're a major producer, right, of copper. They have a lot of copper mines in Australia. Okay, I believe the largest producer of copper in the world, I think, is Chile. if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked that up in a while. But somebody can correct me on that if they know. But copper, right? So you see an increase in demand. The market's been risk on. We know iron ore is huge for Australia. Also copper. We look at the reopening of China. Okay, we look at the reopening of China. So then when you move over and you click on the chart, and you click on the chart, what's going on, right? With the currency, okay? We've got prices are making a run, right? Prices are making a run. Okay, things are accelerating. Okay, so you see on this Aussie Swiss a beautiful C to D move taking place right now. Okay, you see the Aussie across the board is looking pretty strong. Okay, so I always like to post articles like that to kind of tie into everything that we do, and there's several factors, right? There's several factors in regards to monetary policy coming out of Australia and things like that, but it's typically a combination of things. So you can see here, right, how we broke and retested, and now we're on that upward swing. Okay, we're moving to the long side, right? So remember we posted that Aussie CAD a long time ago, right? A long time ago, and look at what it's doing. Okay. So we posted that swing in a Telegram, and you can see it's coming into, right, that TP1 at the beat boundary, right, and then so on and so forth, 118, 127 zone, ultimate destination here. We may eventually carry, right, all the way up to that 1.648 if the market keeps accelerating. You technically have a 786 pullback. So we're looking at coming into this level here, where we might see a reaction and a major correction, but we're moving long. Okay, and you see that crop. Joyce said you're still in. Congratulations! It's a huge move, right? So that's why we do little things like that from time to time, so we can kind of tie things in, like what's going on in the real world to what we're seeing technically on the chart. So you see Australia trade plus largest in 5 months. So a lot of positive momentum coming, and you see that play out. You see these footprints, right, on the charts, and that's what it's all about. And that's where you can gain a major edge when you're trading. So like this Aussie Swiss we have posted, and we posted it on the 5 minute, right? Knowing what the larger swing was, but just as a day trade to say, hey, there's different ways you can enter, right? So we were day trading, right? 5 minute entry off the cloud, looking for the cloud break, and eventually we got it. And then it's been moving up ever since, right? It's been swinging. So on the 5 minute, we had it on the cloud, and then it went through 2 TPs and just kept shooting up some short-term targets and stuff like that we planned out. But ultimately, it was just falling in line with what the price action was doing all along. You see how we just accelerated through these levels. These are some good levels that price is pushing through. Okay, so we're coming into that 64.53 level on the Aussie Swiss. You can see on the forward, just all the way around, you've got all your fibs. It wasn't too long when we were just talking about that low, right? That pullback to that low and that C to D. And now look how it's pushing, right? Right up into that 64.53 level. See? So if you look at 64.53 on the 4 hour, coming in around that 1.618 D extension. If you look at that 64.53 on a 1 hour, look at the pullback, right? We're coming into that 118, 127 zone there. So you got good alignment when you look at your fibs moving down through the charts. So that's a beautiful swing, okay, that we got on the Aussie Swiss. So when you start to just put all these pieces together, right? We went over looking at the technical summaries yesterday. I was updating. This is the New Zealand currency, the dollar, and the Swissy. But if you customize and you look at something like the CHF, just like we were looking at yesterday, and you'll see what's going on across the board. Right? So we scroll down to the bottom, pick up the Aussie CSF, you can see we got strong buys across the board, and you can see technically we're doing just that. Okay, nice upward swing. Okay, so when you think about it, all right, well, all these things are positive for the Aussie. Well, what's going on with the New Zealand currency, right? Next door neighbor, trade partner, also China. What's going on, right? We posted that earlier in the week. We didn't post a ton of setups this week, but some good quality ones. We knew we had our eye on the CPI coming up, so we didn't want to get too crazy. But you can see here, look at the push. Look at the push, right? So we came in and we said, hey, right? Posted it on a 5-minute, and you can see where those TP levels were, and you can see where price is gone, right? Once it broke out of that consolidation, right, it went up, right? When you get consolidation, the cloud is not always the best entry confirmation because it just whipsaws, but the idea was the same and the direction was the same, right? So when you're looking at that 5-minute, those short-term targets, boom, boom, right, it's moving long. But when you just look at it from a Fib perspective, it's just moving bullish, right? It's just moving bullish. Look at the swing. That's beautiful price action there, right? The key is just being patient and waiting. Sometimes when you're swing trading, you sit and you just watch the charts and you scroll through your pairs looking, hey, are any of my pairs in my sweet spot, right? When you're grading that trade, right? Is it meeting what I needed to meet for me to get into that trade? You can see a breakout and a retest to consolidation and then a move up. See that? Out of the swing. So this is the part as a trader, when you swing trade, that can just get on your nerves, right? So you launch this trade at your 61.8 zone or whatnot, or at daily support, and then it just took its time, right? And this is a 4-hour chart, and it did whatever it wanted to do. So if we put in a daily encapsulation, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and now into 17 days before that broke out, right? But if you're trading small and then you scale in, right, you don't worry about that because that's not going to tie your account up because your risk management is stellar. Okay. So it's going to move when it wants to move. So now it's moving up out of that zone. Okay, all is ahead, right? You got the market rallying, stock market, right? So if we come in, so that's the NZD Swiss. So that's another one that we posted in the group. And then another one that we posted was the Aussie yen. I think I got did the app on here. I think I lined up as the app. Yeah, hold on one second. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. I got this new computer. My stuff is kind of still all over the place. So we did this was the Aussie CAD and the update from a while ago. So you had earlier in the week, you had the Aussie Swissy, the NZD Swiss, the Euro NZD. We'll take a look and see what the progress is on that. We had the pound NZD. I'll take a look at that. That came down to TP1, and then it's just doing the dance. I caught that late off the pullback. So, and then we got the Aussie yen. So that's what we posted this week. So let me see something here. Okay. So, all right. Can everybody see my smart trader screen again? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So those were the setups, Let me look in on this Aussie yen because it's still running. It corrected for a second today, but 15. Yeah. So that was still moved. We got a nice correction coming on that now, though. But it moved topside pretty good. But now we got a correction back to the downside. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But we broke trend and went long on that. So we'll continue to watch that one. But that one's running, right? So hopefully that just falls in line and continues to move long. But we'll see what happens with the CPI data tomorrow. But that short term target got hit coming off the high, off the break, and now we're correcting. So we'll see if it holds up and continues long. But and then the pound NZD. Let me see. I know they're still hovering around that TP1 level. It's kind of just moving sideways. Off the 15-minute. Yeah, it's kind of just doing a dance. It's kind of sloppy. But it came down right off that pullback when we caught it, because I didn't catch the initial break. Then off the pullback, and then it bounced and hit TP1, but now it's just kind of dancing around, right? So hopefully we can continue to fall short, maybe get TP2 and beyond on that. So those were the setups. So pretty good, not a ton of setups, but some decent quality ones that's making good moves and still active. On that, if we take a look at the S&P 500, okay, ahead of tomorrow. So we see the commodity currencies are rallying a bit, and we can see here on the S&P, right, how we have, right, on the SPY, you can see how price broke, right, when we drew that up, and it broke and it retested that level, and then it's pushing long here on your S&P. See, just like that on your S&P chart. Okay. We saw a similar move on an NZD Swissy, right? Had that consolidation, then it broke and retested the consolidation, and then continued. And then if we look at the US 30, right, you can see you've got a similar move to your S&P. Okay. So we're saying, hey, it's either going to break out downside or break to the upside. Broke upside out of the range. Right? So you got an upward move. That's the 4 hour. And then if you look at the 1, right, you can see the carryover. That's textbook right there. Range breakout, retest. Took out that high. So we'll see, right? If it's a carry through, we'll see that CPI. Look, if that CPI number comes through and they digest all that data, especially that core CPI, the market can go on and run, right? Because remember, the market is pricing in and saying, hey, the Fed, hey, we were looking at 50 basis points in February. CPI comes through, seven consecutive months, declining inflationary pressure. Maybe they're only going to do 25, and maybe they look to hold to the point where they end up cutting rates at the end of the year. Fed is saying don't bet on that. We're not near that 2 to 3% target, so we don't know. So that's why that report is so big tomorrow. But the rally has shrugged everything off, and it's just, I mean, the market shrugged everything off, and price is moving. Price is moving. So that's how it all comes together. So even though we primarily trade the Forex market, we definitely pay attention to what's going on in equities, things like that, because it matters. It matters. All right. So let's take a look at the US dollar and see where we are ahead of tomorrow. And we can see, right, we're getting some downside pressure. It's barely holding on at that level. Barely holding on at that level. So if this breaks, the head and shoulders I did, if this support breaks that neckline, that's this idea is gone, right? No dollar rally topside. So we shall see. Okay. I am looking forward to it. So here we are, right, on your daily. Trying to push to some lows here. Here we are on your 4 hour. We can see it's just dancing. So tomorrow will tell us a lot. Yep, Jeremy. Sorry about that. Let me get you connected. We got some other folks that joined us too. Welcome. All right. All right. Got you all set. Jeremy, what's going on?
Hey, I'm cool. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man.
Great.
Doing pretty good. You got a question?
Later on.
Oh, later on? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sure.
Awesome. Kim, I saw you had a hand raised. Is that an accident? Do you have a question?
Yes, it was an accident.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome. Cool. So here we are. So that's your US dollar. So, hey, we might as well, since we got a big day coming up tomorrow, take a look at the US dollar. But before we do that, this Bed Bath and Beyond, is it gonna load for me? Look at this. And I missed it, right? So I had this pinned on my charts because this Bed Bath and Beyond stock was getting hammered. Was getting hammered. And then we moved into a rally off these lows today, right? A decent move topside. So I picked up on that, like, man, this is getting smashed up. What's going on? So, man, it did give a little rally here off the lows. So hold on one second, everybody. I gotta check this out. That's my daily. Let's go.
Benny, what pair is this?
This is Bed Bath and Beyond stock.
So you play it just like Forex or as a stock, Penny?
It's a stock, but I market everything up the same, though. It's a stock. But you still technically, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
hold on one second. Technically, I still take the same approach, and then you do company research just like you do. If you looked at a country as a company, you still do fundamental research, right? So it's all the same to me, really. Yeah, it's slightly different game in regards to some of the things you have to look out for, of course. But hold on, because this bad boy rally. I'm so busy today with presentations and stuff. I missed it.
So you're gonna buy low and sell high, huh?
Same approach. Like,
love it.
Yeah. So even if you like to buy and hold, right? Technicals can still help you in regards to finding a low price, right? So let's do this here, right? Sorry, y'all. I hope y'all don't mind. I know I'm off the CPI thing right now, but hold up. Because I had this ready to go. So you can see how this is just plummeted. It's getting pounded, right? It's getting pounded. And I'm pretty sure this run created a little bit of a squeeze today with it moving back topside. Right, so you got some bond pressure coming up from the lows. So let me mark this up. So this is the low where we're getting a rally like that. And then you still just take the same approach, at least I do, right? Because it's technical analysis. I take the same approach to it. So I'll come in here and I'm yeah. And that's all I need from that. Go down to the weekly. Okay. So that's that monthly level. This is that low right now. It's not an established or confirmed low. So we could push lower. But I'm going to come in, revisit that level. The market moves in ways regardless, right? take that level there, and we will take it down to our daily chart. Just like drill. So if we have any levels coming in, and we got some daily levels high, just beyond this level here. So kind of giving you those targets, right? Just like we do with currencies or anything else. And but so did I link this daily level? Yep. Okay. So what I need to do all right. And I'm going to hit this trend line low. Break. Right. So you got folks, you got buyers coming in buying off the lows, right? Everybody saw that move. So you can see this move up. And then this is our 4. Let's put the levels in. We can see that we broke a level right here through a couple levels. Right? So you got to swing high there from the 4. So we're going to put that in just as a marker, possible retest area. Like so. And we're going to link that down. Then here's another area here that price pushed through. Got a lot of upside pressure today on that. And so now I'm going to continue to move down through my charts. Okay. Gap ups and everything else. You can see how explosive that move was. Boom. All right. Pushed up. We come down to this 15. We see the low. Here we are on a small wave like that. Okay. So right now you got a 382. Okay, pull back on your 15-minute. Okay, you've got an it's the impulsive move. It was explosive. So you got on that 1 hour, right? It's just boom, it's overextended. But here we've got a 382, we got price pushing, right? So you say, hey, based off that 382, we get a 1.618D extension. We know we've got a 118, 127 zone that maybe we push and get a retest to that level. But we're moving up, right? So off the low. So it's just like anything else, right? If I was playing it off the 15-minute and we were swinging like this. So let me move up. Bang, there's your break off the low. See? You got brand new A-B boundary, you got a B to C swing. Just like so. But even if you didn't want to use that for any type of targets, just support resistance, you got a trend line break and you got an ABCD swing going on. Right? No different, right, than if you were zoomed in further on your 5. Right? See? way overextended, right? We got a D extension hit, it formed a high, right? That's so impossible. It didn't even catch up to it yet. That should be a new fib. That should be a new fib. That's moving, right? On your 5. So we got an AB, we got a shallow C, a D move that formed a high right away. So that should on your 5, it look like something like this, right? Like that. And then there's your ABCD swing coming right into that same zone that the other ones are. And that is it. So you can take the same approach, no matter what, right? Depending on what your style is, because of opens and closes, business being done after hours, all types of stuff for those guys. It went as low as $1. Yeah, it was down there. It was down there. It's getting tanked. People were putting a push on that stock, but it recovered, right? We just know fundamentally is bad shape, but I still get lost every time I walk in that place and confused. But if it makes sense, you catch something off the lows, you can you can catch the swing. So it doesn't matter. But I meant to do that earlier and got so busy and I did not get a chance to do it. So appreciate you guys hanging in there with me on that one. So that's what it's doing, moving back up to the top side. We'll see how long it can sustain that move up. Right, everything will be impacted tomorrow based on that CPI report. But that's that. So let's look at the Aussie dollar, right, ahead of tomorrow's news and report. So if we take a look at the weekly chart, okay, we can see, look at that huge swing. Did this weekly fib hang in or did it collapse? Yeah, it collapsed. So we're looking at a rebound. So we're moving bullish, right? We pushed past, we had a small correction in this zone, right? Where we've got past support becoming future resistant. It blew right through that. Blew right through this weekly high as well. Okay, went right through that. So what I mean by that is at some point, this was a weekly resistance level. Okay? Like so. And it's since pushed through that. Dang, we take that down. Questions. I'm glad you missed it. FOMO love just made it. It's too funny. Just too funny. Just made it in Indiana. Back home. Welcome back. Welcome back. So that is the weekly, and we come to the daily, right? We can just see like it's just making a good run, right? Broke straight through. Boom. Right. Boom. Just broke through that level. Okay. And so you go here like that. You got a nice fib running off your 382. We get that push, right? 71.39. Right? We may get to that level. So if you're just a support resistance trader playing breaks and retests, you just go from level to level. But the fibs help you to determine, hey, where's that extension? So when you're way down here, you can say, you know what? I might have buying potential on this current wave with over 500 pips. Right? And you can look to trade those breaks and retests all the way up to that level. So ahead of tomorrow, this is what we're looking like. Bullish move. We broke in 68.90. And we shall see if we get another continuation. We got some other levels though. Yep. New in that form there. Gotta get these charts updated. Here's a level here. Got a small one that formed here. So on and so forth. So we have been bullish. Everybody sees that, bullish off the lows. And as we head into CPI data report, we've got a brand new, right? Inner, outer, long-term trend line broken. New AB boundary. So we need to see what's going to happen next on the Aussie dollar. Definitely have a catalyst tomorrow, right? So if the news is positive for the markets and we've got nice decreases in the core CPI, we might just run. You might not get a correction. You might just see it. You might just see it take off and start blazing through some levels to the upside, which is okay. which is okay. We wait for the dust to settle. Hey, it just confirms Aussie's bullish, and then we just wait for the next correction. So here we are on the one, right? Price is just moving up, kind of similar. All right. You headed home to Detroit. Okay. All right. Well, drive. Be safe. Be safe. Yeah. Pray for your safe return. So that's the Aussie dollar, right? We got a brand new AB boundary. We are bullish ahead of the CPI. Any questions on the Aussie dollar?
No.
All right. Appreciate you. All good. So let's jump into the euro dollar. Okay. We know we're at those 107 levels. Hawkish ECB. Euro's been making a run, and we got a continued bullish move today, right? So there's that 107.89 that we've been saying, hey, price to make a run to this level, and we are there. Look at that beautiful V-type recovery there. Direction to the upside. As support becoming future resistance, right? Nice clean move, okay? Nice clean move. So if we come to the daily, we can see, right? Boom, straight up, okay? So we can run a fit to the upside, and we can see shallow retracement. We're in that 118, 127 zone, okay? Bullish momentum ahead of tomorrow's report. So we've got our charts marked up. Whichever way we get pushed, we can react to, okay? Fundamentally, we'll know what's going on, and we can start to project some opportunities, all right? Positive market, right? More dollar weakness, you're gonna see that euro push to the upside, okay? I was listening to one gentleman today. He was talking about fair value for the euro potentially, and he was talking 112, 115-ish area, right? If it maintains bullish momentum. So we'll see how the CPI report plays into that tomorrow and see how the market reacts. But that's where we are, right? It's been moving bullish for quite some time now. We finally reached that 107.89 zone that we were targeting for the long swing. Right. So we zoom out. We can see, look, sell zone, buy zone, inner to outer trend line break. Now we've broken that outer trend line, and we're right in that zone. Market does the same thing over and over again, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. But this is what the market is doing. That's a beautiful U-turn. Off the lows, okay, we've moved all the way up to 107.89, over 1,200 pips. And if you're not the buy and hold type, that's okay. Right? Just get your direction right. So if you scalp, if you use the lower time frames, you're moving in the right direction overall. So that's the Euro USD. Any questions? Okay, cool. What else we have? So we got the euro dollar. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. Okay. So we can see our weekly. Trying to form a low, right? Right, that 122.95. We actually broke above it and came right back down, right, through it. So that's actually, right, you got a level in between there now. Okay. Like that. So we're seeing that from the higher time frame. So we're gonna move that down. Move to our daily. This is where we are. So kind of that same, isn't it amazing? Just like you saw the euro hit that low, and then we reversed and we're moving back up through the zone. You've got the same thing, right, with your pound dollar. So we've seen a correction. We formed a low. We've been pushing bullish off that low, okay? But we don't have a 382 yet. So tomorrow will be big, right? We need price to move. Here we are on the 4. So when you zoom in, you can see how We got that break to the downside, the 80-20. Didn't get to a 382. We froze at that 236. But out of that zone, and the reason why we trade that zone and it's so powerful is that is a 580 pip move, right? Back to the downside. And we didn't even get to 382. Now, it's to be determined ahead of tomorrow, but right now, we're holding above this level. Right.
Hi, Benny. Benny.
I'm here.
Just a quick question. You know, on the 80-20, there is a shallow retracement to either the 236 or a little bit on the 382 to the 1.127 level to determine the 80-20, right?
Correct. Right. So,
yeah. So, for example, if price pushes down, retraces to the 618 and pushes up to the 1.27 and pulls back, do you consider that as 80-20?
So say it again. Let's draw it out. Let's draw it out. So like price is coming off this 127 now, right? Came off that 127, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying if it continues down?
Yeah, to the 618 and pushes back.
Back up?
Yeah, right? To the 61. Sorry, to the 1.1. Yeah, level.
Like this.
And pulls back down to the, assuming it pulls back down to the 618. Do you consider that as 80-20?
Like this?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
No, I'm more consider now we're just range bound, right? So the initial play off the fib, and you may be in a range, right? A huge range. But the only 80-20 scenario I'm looking at is because now if price comes down to this 618, right, and pushes up, that no longer qualifies, right? Because we only consider that 80-20 off the initial move. Right. So you see how you've got this AB boundary and we got this pullback here, that shallow retracement less than the 382. And then we broke that B boundary. That's it. Right. That's it there. Now you may get some type of harmonic that could play out, you know, as a result, some type of harmonic pattern when you don't. You got that fight between your bulls and the bears, right? Between the AB boundary. So then you may start to get, depending on the ratios, right? Right? Your X to A leg, right? Your A to B, like that. What just happened? Oops. Right. So you may have an X to A leg when you get that push like this, like that, right? Then we come back down to some type of level, right? And depending on what that aspect ratio is, right? That X to A, then you got that correction, whatever that ratio comes in at 38.250, 61.8, right? Then that A to B, that correction, wherever that level comes in at, you may have, right, some type of harmonic that when you don't get that breakout either way, right? So we pushed up and then we corrected all the way back down. And then we tried to break out again and we failed. And then we pushed back down. Right now you've got a harmonic pattern type of situation setting up to where depending on where it lands, now you get those upside targets, right? So when you use your harmonic, say for example, like you got a garment here, right? So now when you draw that harmonic pattern, it gives you targets based off of that C to D leg. So you pull your fib like this. Boom. And then it'll give you targets. It usually will put your stop, right? Usually how you play that is your stop goes like just beyond, right? A lot of times people tell you to put your stop below the D, but a lot of times when you get scanners or something like that, or some type of tool, a lot of times it'll put it right outside that 127. And then, right, a scanner will give you like a 382 target like this. It'll give you the 61.8 target oftentimes. and then it'll give you TP3 like that. Okay, so when you get that fight in between your AB boundary, and it's like, man, it pulled all the way down to 618, then it came back up, and it failed to break out again. It didn't break out to its correlating extension, and it's still hanging within that AB boundary. That's what I started thinking. We may have a harmonic. A decision needs to be made. Either the bulls or the bears are gonna have to win this battle, right? And so typically that's how you get your harmonic, which, right? The years, right, have put into the game, right, discovering things, that setup looks familiar, doesn't it? So if you get, right, that's going to give you, because what happens? Look, A, B, C, D. When we get at the extension, we all know this, right? It's just like the game. Your C becomes your new A, your D becomes your new B. Drop your fib, now you've got your upside targets on the swing. Okay. So that's how, so if this happened here, like this, okay. It's the same scenario over and over again. No matter how you get to it, it's the same scenario. So we saw 80-20 off this capital fib here. Now, if your scenario played out where price bounced around and we got a harmonic, guess what? If this price, okay, follow me now, got a harmonic pattern garlic. If this price, right, makes a shallow retracement and pushes down to the 118, 127 zone, what do we have, Jeremy? What do we call that?
80-20.
Yeah, absolutely. So then look, right? So when we draw those 80-20s, what do? We give you a target 1, a target 2, then to target 3, and so on and so forth. Just like that. The same stuff is happening all over the charts all the time. Okay. So when you put the time in, you discover things. Right. So I just talked about my mentors about the zone, but when I experienced my time playing with harmonics and harmonic scanners and things like that, I was able to put what I learned, right, from my mentors in regards to the fib and trading sweet spots, okay? And then saying, you know what, I want to incorporate some technology, and using the scanner for a while, I was just like, oh, wow, right? When you look at a harmonic pattern, it's giving you that C to D leg, which becomes your new AB. Now, I didn't know that from using a harmonic. I knew that from my education, right? So now you say, you know what? The light bulbs start to go off in your head, and you say, wow, it's all about the reset. A, B, C, D. Okay. A, B, C, D. Just like if, right, we had an A, B, C, D wave that represents the reset. All right. So it's literally the same stuff. So the reason why we start out as the foundation and teaching people about the Fibonacci sequence, because no matter where you go, you're going to see it. Whether it's different trading strategies, different technology, if it's using all your harmonic patterns are derived from Fibonacci ratios. See how that just became a bat, right? See how these things can move? See how now that's a shark? See? Because the market moves in waves, right? So that was a great question because it enabled us to have a pretty good lesson on that, right?
Thank
So
you.
you're welcome. So that's what happens, and that's how my mentors always taught me. You got to fight between the bulls and the bears, right? And so it's just you combine the things, and like that's why we always say, like, hey, give yourself time because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it happens. It happens all over the market, right? It happens all over the market. So yeah, man, that's it. So that's what would happen. It wouldn't be considered an 80-20, but you could get some other things starting to shape up. Cool.
Yes.
All right. All right. All right. So any other questions? So let's take a look at the NZD USD. Isn't it amazing, like how they're all now? We've looked at multiple dollar crosses. You can see they're all in key zones, right, ahead of the reports. Okay, similar type of price action. That's why we say once you learn to frame the market out, you start seeing the similarities, right? And you don't mind looking at all your currencies so much, okay? Because you can start to see the trends and the patterns. So this is where we are, right? Why? Because that dollar was a monster, right? The dollar was a monster. And now currencies are just now starting to rally against the dollar. So here we are. Yeah, you can see how we put here, break and retest. So we'll see tomorrow if it can continue momentum to the upside based off the CPI. Okay. So look at that. If the market is going to move up, it's going to move in waves. It might be sloppy from time to time, right? But it's going to move in waves. Right. So there we are. That is, yeah, very, very. I'm telling you, your NZD pairs sometimes and your Swiss pairs, man, can just be a disaster, right? I said that the Aussie Swiss this week initially, because of where I had my stop on the day trade, initially stopped me out. As a matter of fact, I think it might have got me twice. Oh, but it was just whipping all over the place. But that's the Swissio plus, considering the economic conditions right now and what everybody's anticipating. So it was rough early first beginning of the week, but recovered nicely. So this is where we are on the NZD USD, right? That's it. But you can see how look on that 1 hour. See what we mean? Well, I was like, as long as it doesn't take out the A, there's no choice but to go your way. So look at this mess. But ultimately, okay, we're moving in the ABCD way. See? That's how we're doing. It's moving in a way. Okay? That's why I try not to, you plan your trade, you trade your plan, right? You have to trade all of these, right? But you try to get consistent in regards to where your sweet spots and your zones are, no matter what the currency pair, no matter what the asset class is, right? And then once I'm in that, how it gets to the destination, I know I have no control over it. All of this here, I have no control over the timing or how long it's going to take to make a C to D move. If that's what it wants to do, all I know is I got a TP or TP set, and I have a stop loss to protect my backside, and the rest is history. Right? The rest is going to be history. So that's the NZD USD, right? So you can see all these currencies have rallied against the dollar ahead of the CPI. So that's the NZD USD. Let's take a look at the UCAD. So now your dollar has shifted from being the counter currency to being the base currency. So we have dollar weakness, right? You can see how we are moving down. Okay. Even with the CAD, okay, moving down. Okay? Saw a little rally in the oil price. We'll take a look at that too, because we have marked that up. But you can see how this has turned over. Okay? And where we're sitting on the daily now. So yep, huge moves on the dollar. Right? So you look at over the last year, for the most part, just buy the dollar since 2020, really. So when you talk about those buy and hold traders, if you just buy the dollar long, right? Add to your positions as a position trader, right? You've been good. The dollar is just now really starting to make the major downside correction. Okay, so this is where we are. So you look at your 4, right? So there's a 4-hour wave off that high. So as of right now, and that's all we can be is in the now. A, B, highest level, didn't quite get to that 86 to 786. So if we see continued dollar weakness, CD, right? Based on that correction. Okay. See how, look, B, C, D. 786 correction, 127 D extension. But once you hit that D extension, right? You run, you settle, you form a new AB boundary, and then you get a new fib. And then the game just continues to move on and on and on and on and on. That's it. I think we came up just shy. That 786 we did. Didn't hit it right on the nose. So your D extension is here, 1.618. We nailed it, right? Once it forms that low, you say, yeah, we're short. That's 786. 1.618 was it. Low forms, correction, and a pullback. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Any questions on the US dollar CAD? So we've been moving bearish, right? That makes sense. Mainly on dollar weakness. All right. Okay. Now, this, look what happened here. Okay. So for your pattern traders, okay. Okay. Look what it's just once you start seeing it, right? Those reversal patterns. Okay, so you can see, look, see how that moved up? See how it came back to the zone? See that? Turned over. Okay. So when you look at a pattern and you look at pattern completions, if you're drawing your fib off the pattern, then you take it from the top of that pattern ahead, you pull it down like this. Okay. It's almost like pulling it down from a higher time frame move. So look, you see, look, A, B, C. Just like, okay. So that's how you traditionally draw it. If you have a head and shoulders pattern, right? You don't run your smart fib on it. You do it like that. Boom. Head right back down to the low. There's your pullback. See? Just like that. All righty. That's that. Dollar Swissy. Let's take a look at it. So, all right. We pop over and we were moving bearish. So if you come over and take a look at the technicals, right? Let's look at this on the dollar Swiss. See how we've been moving? And we've been moving on the sell. Okay, to the downside, dollar weakness. And then look, you can see how things start to turn over when the tide starts to shift, right? So you can see how things started to make a run on the Swissy, right? Swissy's a safe haven. Look at the Aussie Swiss, right? You start to see the patterns. Swissy's a safe haven. Well, we're risk on. The market's rallying. We're keeping this money safe and take some risk, right? So you've seen Swiss weakness. So even the CAD, right, making that run before, right, strong from the top down, but now you can start to see the subtle reversals in the momentum and the price action. So now look, it's shifted to neutral. And as you move through the lower time frames, you get long. So when you start to see this, right, on these technical summaries and things like that, what does that represent? Well, visually that represents price is bottoming out. It's finding a bottom, okay? And now we've got some energy coming up off that bottom a little bit there, see? And that's mainly due, right, to that Swissy weakness rally. So yep, we're ranging, but you see how that started to correct to the upside? So that's why you see your analysis starting to switch here with your technical indicators, which are lagging, right? The best indicators, as we always say, the best indicators you're gonna have are your own two eyes, right? Because it happens in real time, right? You see things in real time, but the indicators are starting to shift a little bit, right? Seeing strong buying momentum coming off that bottom, right? So from the top down, we did, right? We had a lot of downside pressure, okay? A lot of downside pressure, but now we're starting to find some support. So that's why on that technical summary, you're starting to see buy, okay? Because it's found a bottom, and as you move down to the lower time frames, you can see it, see? Right. It's sloppy and rangy down here. Yep, you had a down fib running on it. Why? Because price has been moving to the downside, but now we're swinging. So if you just look at the price action and take this off, you can see that it's ranging, but we found support and we're pushing long. So if you come into the 1 hour and you zoom in and get more granular about it, look at the swing. See? Sloppy, but you're still getting it pushed to the upside. Look how it pushed up and couldn't quite break through it, right? We couldn't quite, this cluster here, we couldn't break through it, that zone, but then we finally did. Look, boom. So we'll see what happens. We shall see. That is the dollar Swiss. Okay. UJ. Look at that, right? It's been moving down. Been moving down, right? Trying to chase support at 126. Man, you remember those days, that dollar rally? Crazy to where the point where the Bank of Japan had to step in for the first time since 1998. They're saying, hey, we reached that 150 level. We got to do something. And they did. Right? So look, it's moving down. There's that 126.41 level. Right now, we've got a 50% pullback and price is moving down on the daily ahead of the report tomorrow. We come in, we take a look at the 4. See that? Bearish bias, deploy your fib in a bearish direction. And you can see now we're in the middle of an ABCD wave. We've got a 50% pullback up against 138. Daily support. It's beautiful. Anytime you can get those higher level support and resistance levels in within that AB boundary, you want to eye that up, especially if they're in your sell zone. Especially if they're in your sell zone, because you might get the reaction there. Right? Those are high percentage plays. Okay. So just like here on the 4, you have other levels. See, look, if we put our resistance in, right, you can see a lot of traffic in that zone, right? So my bias is bearish. I love it. 50%, 61.8 on up and higher. Whatever your trade plan is, you might get a reaction. Okay. And we've been moving back to the downside. Okay. So it's still a price action support resistance game. We just put the tuxedo on it. We put the fibs on it and dress it up a little bit. That's all we're doing, is dressing the price action up to give us a little bit more accuracy on the reversals. That's all. All right. So there we are. So that's the UJ. We covered US 30, S&P. Let's take a look at gold, see where we are, see if we can continue to get a rally on gold. Better believe it. We're above that 1878 ahead of tomorrow. And got another far past level in right here. But man, look at that push up. So we all, right? We see, right? Drop me a 2 in the chat. We see why it's so important, right? To spend the time, do your homework when you get downtime over the weekends, and and then just mark your charts up and let them come to you, right? Let the trades come to you. Right? So was that level we were talking about a long time ago when we were talking about 1857. Man, it blazed right through that. Now look at where we are. Okay. Look here how price rallied. Look at this zone here. Okay. Sometimes you just have to turn on your charts and just look at it, right? Look at this zone in here and how price broke it and then came right back down to it, right? Right? Took off. How it struggled right here at this level. And then it just took off. Right? Look at that bullish break. Okay, a little bit of consolidation there, then boom, we broke through. Okay, doesn't matter. So that's where we are. So if we come in here and we look at the 4 from the wave sequence, okay, we talked about this. If we get that U-turn, right? Look how fast, right? Look at what the progress price can make in a couple of days. Look at that. 236, boom. We talked about that. Hey, if it bounces, we go up to this 118.127 zone, then we break that 18.7. That's what it did. We didn't get a deep correction. Market's been impulsive. Buyers are saying we are in control right now. No time for a correction, the deep one. We're in control. So let's see what happens tomorrow on gold. And then let's take a look at that oil, because we marked that up together on the session. And you can see, right? We've got that rally. Right. See how remember we drew that trend line off the low and we broke through that 76 level. We're pushing. Do we hold, right? Do we retest and hold at this level? We'll see. Right. Do we continue? Do we consolidate? Do we push up and then come back to retest that level? Right at the trend line? Don't know. Commodities can be explosive. Right? So do we push up and then eventually work our way back to that trend line and that level? See. That's why tomorrow is so important. All right. So that is it, everybody. That's all your dollar pairs. Looked at some indices, right? Ahead of tomorrow. We even took a look at Bed Bath & Beyond that got tanked and it's trying to make a recovery. You're welcome. So that is all I have ahead of tomorrow. I will be back on here tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with everybody. So we'll do the pre-New York session. I don't expect too much movement overnight, but we'll jump in tomorrow morning, take a quick look ahead of the 8:30 session to see if anything has changed. It'll be a fairly quick session tomorrow because 8:30 is what's going to be important and everything after that. So with that being said, thanks for your time. We appreciate you being here and being Inner Circle members. And I look forward to seeing everybody that can make it tomorrow morning. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Benny.